Hello, good afternoon student. My name is Hiral Raval. Today's date 15 December 2020 Tuesday. Standard 7th subject Science. Chapter number 17 Forest Our Lifeline. In this chapter we have already studied the introduction of this chapter, then visit to a forest. There is a conservation of the village boy and Professor Ahmed. Professor Ahmed is one of the scientists. It was tired. It participated in the Golden Jubilee celebration of the town. Okay. Professor Ahmed told them that after the cultural program, the senior people discussed the town's unemployment problem. So this is the meeting of about unemployment problem in the forest. Then he went to the visit to the forest and he meet the one village boy Tibu. Tibu is the village boy. He was guiding them into forest. Then we shows the many elephants live in the deeper area of the forest. Figure 7.2. This is the diagram of some forest animals. This is some forest animals. Figure 17.3 shows that a forest has a habitat. Many animals lives in the forest. So they are habitat in the forest. Pujo and Paheli remember that they have studied about forest as an example of a habitat in class 6. क्लास 6 में वो लोग पढ़े थे कि फॉरेस्ट एज अ हैबिटेट इन द एनिमल्स. They could see now how the forest provides a home for many animals and plants. Then this picture shows some forest plants like neem plants, shisham plants, seemal and bamboo. Okay. Tibu helped them to identify sal, teak, seemal, shisham, neem, palash, fig, khair, आमला, बैम्बू, कचनर, वो सारे प्लांट्स के बारे में उन्होंने बच्चों को बताया. Then we perform an interesting activity. Activity 17.1. Then we show some forest products like honey, sealing wax, wooden statue, cashew and gum. Okay, these are the forest products. Then we discuss some grow up into trees. Means that the branchy part of a tree above the stem is known as a crown of the tree. The branchy part above the stem is called the crown. Here the diagram. This is the canopy. Professor Ahmed asked children to look up and observe how the branches of the tall trees look like a roof over the other plants in the forest. He told them this is called the canopy. This is the canopy. Then activity 17.2. We perform activity 17.2. This is the diagram of canopy and understories in the forest. This is the forest floor. Children picked up the various seeds and leaves for their collections, walking over the dead leaf layer on the forest floor was like walking over a spongy carpet. स्पॉन्जी कारपेट पे चल रहे हैं ऐसा उनको लगा. हियर एक्टिविटी 17.3 डिग अ स्मॉल पिट हमें बनानी है. ओके और उसके अंदर पुट द वेजिटेबल वेस्ट एंड अदर फॉरेस्ट मटीरियल. आफ्टर 3 days रिमूव द अपर लेयर ऑफ द सॉइल. डज द पीट फील वार्म इनसाइड? यस, अंदर से पीट हमें वार्म ही लगेगी, है ना. दिस इज द कॉम्पोस्ट, मैन्योर, fertilizers in the forest. Then this picture shows the interrelationships of plants, soil and decomposers in a forest. Then we have studied the oxygen, balancing of oxygen and carbon dioxides. Here the definitions of the hummocks. Professor Emmer shades the dead plants and animal tissue and convert them into dark colored substance called hummocks. The microorganisms which convert the dead plants and animals to hummocks are known as decomposers. These microorganisms play an important role in the forest. Soon, Paheli removed some dead leaves and discovered under them a layer of hummocks on the forest floor. So, the presence of hummocks ensured that the nutrition of the dead plants and animals are released into the soil. Paheli reminded Professor Emmer that he had not explained why forests are called green lungs. Professor Emmer explained that the plants release oxygen through the process of photosynthesis. The plants have to provide oxygen for animal respirations that also maintain the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. That's why forests are called lungs. Okay, Tibu told them that the forest is not just home of plants and animals. Many people also live in the forest. बहुत सारे जो people होते हैं वहाँ, जो आदिवासी जो बोलते हैं, है ना, वो सब forest में रहते हैं. Some of people also live in the forest. Some of them may belong to different tribes. Tibu explained that these people depend mostly on the forest. The forest provides them with food, shelter, water and medicines. They have traditional knowledge about many medicinal plants in the forest. While Bhujo was drinking water from a small stream, he saw some deer crossing the stream. They disappeared into the bushes. The dense bushes and the tall grass provides animals with the food and shelter. They also protect them from carnivores that live in the forest. This is the deer in a forest. Tibu then started looking closely at the forest floor. Soon he called and showed the children dropping of some animals and explained the difference between various types of droppings. Okay, he recognized the presence of some animals in the forest by their drooping and footprints. Here the diagram of a saplings on a wall. वॉल पे saplings होता है. This is the diagram. हमने देखा है बहुत सारे ऐसे टेरेस होते हैं, वॉल पे से ऐसे saplings निकल आते हैं. Okay, Bhujo called every one and showed that a large decaying heap of animal drooping. Several beetles and grubs were feeding on the heap and a bunch of seedlings was sprouting. These seedlings are of the herbs and shrubs. The animals also disperse the seeds of certain plants and help the forest to grow and regenerate. The decaying animal dung also provides nutrition to the seedlings to grow, said Professor Ahmed. After listening to this, Bujo noted in his notebook, by harboring greater variety of plants, the forest provides greater opportunities for food and habitat for the herbivores. Larger number of herbivores means increased availability of food for variety of carnivores. The wide variety of animals helps the forest to regenerate and grow. Decomposers help in maintaining the supply of nutrition to the growing plants in the forest. Therefore, the forest is a dynamic living entity full of life and vitality. This is the diagram. The close canopy and many layers of vegetations slow down the speed of raindrops. Transpirations and evaporations. This is a covered ground with decaying materials acts like a sponge. This is a root system's water table to help the forest to regenerate and grow. Decomposers helps in maintaining the supply of nutrition to the growing plants in the forest. Therefore, the forest is a dynamic living entity full of life and vitality. It was about afternoon and the children wanted to go back. Tibu suggested another route for going back. उन्होंने दूसरा रास्ता बताया तिबू ने. While they were going back, it started raining. अभी बारिश आना चालू हो गया. However, surprisingly, they saw that the raindrops were not hitting the forest floor directly. उन्होंने देखा कि रेन ड्रॉप से वो डायरेक्टली जो है वो फॉरेस्ट फ्लोर पे नहीं आ रहे हैं. The uppermost layer of the forest canopy interkept the flow of raindrops, and most of the water was coming down through the branches and the stems of trees. From the leaves, it was dripping slowly over branches of the shrubs and herbs. They found the ground was still dry. After about half an hour, the rain stops. Half an hour के बाद rain जो है बारिश कम बंद हो गई. They noticed that the layer of dead leaves over the forest floor appeared wet now, but water did not stagnate in the forest. Forest में पानी जमा नहीं हुआ. Bujo thought that if it had rained so heavily in his town, it would have flooded the drains and roads. What would happen if it rains heavily in your town? हमारे टाउन में इतनी बारिश होगी तो क्या होगा? तो सब जगह पानी हो जाएगा. मीन्स कि अभी तो आरसीसी के रोड होते हैं तो पानी जमा भी नहीं हो सकता है. ओके. Professor Emmer told them that the forest also acts as a natural absorber of rainwater and allows it to seep. It helps maintain the water table throughout the year. Forests not only help in controlling floods but also help maintain the flow of water in the streams so that we get a steady supply of water. On the other hand, if trees are not present, rain hits the ground directly and may flood the area around it. फॉरेस्ट नहीं होते, सपोज ट्रीज नहीं होते तो डायरेक्टली जो है वो रेन है वो ग्राउंड पे जाता है ना, तो फ्लोड आने की प्रोबेबिलिटी बढ़ जाती. हैवी रेन may also damage the soil. Roots of the trees normally bind the soil together, but in their absence of soil is washed away or eroded. The children spent an hour at Tibu's village on their way back. The weather of the village was quite pleasant. Villagers told them that due to the surrounding forest, they receive good rainfall. The air also remained cool. Noise pollution too is less because the forest absorbs the noise of the nearby highway. The children learnt about the history of the village. It surprised them that the village and the agriculture fields of that area were created after clearing the forest about 60 years ago. Tibu's grandfather told them that when he was young, the village was not as large as it was now. तिबू के ग्रैंडफादर ने बताया जब मैं यंग था तो इतना फॉरेस्ट यहाँ इतना कवर अप नहीं हुआ था. It was also surrounded by forest. Constructions of roads, buildings, industrial development, and increasing demand of wood created pressures on the forest and it started vanishing. धीरे 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 कम होने लगा ये सब मीन्स के ट्रीज को काटने लगे तो he was not happy that the forest adjoining their village is not regenerating and is on the verge of disappearing due to the overgrazing of animals and indiscriminate felling of trees. Professor Emma said that if we did think wisely, we could preserve forest and environment as well as have development. Children prepared a few pictures to show the consequence of such an event. At the end of the visit, Professor Ahmed asked children to sum up the importance of forest. The children wrote, "Forests provide us with oxygen. They protect soil and provide habitat to a large number of animals. Forests help in bringing good rainfall in neighboring areas. They are a source of medical plants, timber, and many other useful products. We must preserve our forest." हमें हमारे फॉरेस्ट को प्रिजर्व करना चाहिए. What would happen if forest disappear? फॉरेस्ट ही चला जाएगा तो क्या होगा, है ना. बहुत मेजर प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा. जब फॉरेस्ट नहीं होगा तो ये सारी चीज़ें हमें नहीं मिलेगी. सो वी मस्ट प्रिजर्व फॉरेस्ट. तो ये क्वेश्चन का आंसर मैं आपको देती. ये क्वेश्चन का आंसर आपको होमवर्क में लिख के मुझे बताना है. ओके, टुडेज होमवर्क. व्हाट वुड हैपन इफ फॉरेस्ट डिसअपीयर. दिस इज द वन ऑफ द एक्टिविटी. नंबर 1 2 3 4. 1 क्या होता है. If forest disappear, the amount of carbon dioxide in air will increase, resulting the increase of Earth's temperature. अर्थ का टेम्परेचर है वो बढ़ जाता. Then second, in the absence of trees and plants, the animals will not get food and shelters. Food and shelter नहीं मिलता. In the absence of trees, the soil will not hold water, which will causes floods. फ्लूड्स हो जाता है. डिफॉरेस्टेशन विल एंडेंजर आवर लाइफ एंड एनवायरनमेंट. थिंक व्हाट वी कैन डू टू प्रिजर्व आवर फॉरेस्ट. फॉरेस्ट को प्रिजर्व करने के लिए हमें क्या करना चाहिए. ओके, तो जो है वो ट्रीज़ जो है वो ज़्यादा कट नहीं करने चाहिए, है ना. यही एक जो है फॉरेस्ट को हम प्रिजर्व कर सकते हैं. देन यहाँ पे कीवर्ड्स है कैनोपी, क्राउन, डिकम्पोजर्स. जो कीवर्ड्स जो है ना उसकी डेफिनेशन ही अंदर दी है. कैनोपी, क्राउन, डिकम्पोजर्स, डिफॉरेस्टेशंस, हमक्स, रीजनरेशंस, देन सीड डिस्पर्सल, soil erosion, then under story. What you have learned means that this is the summary of this chapter. We get various products from the forest surrounding us. Forest is a systems comprising various plants, animals, and microorganisms. In a forest, trees form the uppermost layer, followed by shrubs. The shrubs form the lowest layer of vegetation. Different layers of vegetation provide food and shelter for animals, birds, and insects. The various components of the forest are interdependent on one another. The forest keeps on growing and changing and can regenerate. In the forest, there is interactions between soil, water, air and living organism. Forests protect the soil from erosion. Then forests are the lifeline for the forest dwelling communities. Forest influence climate, water cycle and air quantity. ओके स्टूडेंट, तो ये चैप्टर जो है हमारा कंप्लीट हो गया है. इसके एक्सरसाइज है उसकी मैं आपको PDF सेंड करूँगी. थैंक यू.